I'm using oil paint again to paint Bjorn's staff. I probably should have put a base coat of primer down, as oil paint doesn't stick very well to smooth metal. In the end, after the oil paint cures, it's fine, especially with some lacquer over top holding it all together and in place. But still, some primer would have made it a lot easier. I repeatedly found the paint coming off on my hands and fingers as I went forward with this, and I had to keep repainting it. Primer just makes some situations a lot easier. I won't need to glue the staff in place. The armature from the thumb and hand will grip it nicely. There are different ways I could have gone with the shield here. If I want an intricate pattern on a shield, a lot of the time I'll just find a picture online, print it at the desired size, cut it out and glue it on some clay. I decided to go with the fully sculpted route here with this shield. Tom just told me he's holding a wooden shield, but to emphasize the Druid theme, I made it look like an unworked slice from a log. I'll use some lacquer to glue this onto his arm, with some additional lacquer going over the finished mini, binding with that between the arm and shield. I'm hoping that will result in a fairly durable bond holding the shield in place. The torso and legs are now baked hard in addition to the head. Building this up bit by bit and in segments helps me to get the shape just right. It's easier to add clay where it's needed rather than to move around clay from one spot to another. Pushing the clay around across established areas is a sure way to deform what you've already shaped, forcing you to revisit areas again and again, which is very frustrating. Same method here as I've been doing from the start with this mini. Just build it up a little, slice at a time, carefully pushing it onto and around the armature, then smoothing it out. At this point, the staff wiggles around just a little in the grip, but will be quite tight once the clay for the hand is baked. You can see how the paint is wiped off on several places on the staff. I'll fix that later. If you look closely at the clay, you'll see where some of the oil paint ended up. That's okay, I'll be painting over it again later, and the clay takes the paint much better than the wire. Baked the arms before continuing with the sleeves here. For Bjorn's sleeves sticking out from under his leather cuirass, I glue on 2 tissue paper triangles on either side of his torso around his neck and shoulders. Last video, I used lacquer for this kind of thing, where I put his tunic hanging out from underneath at his belt line. And lacquer, just like wire, does not take paint very well, so I found some plain school glue holds the tissue paper in place well enough. It also cures in a way that takes all kind of paint very well. It Takes a bit of fine work to nudge the paper in place where I want it. And to get them to hang off the shoulders the way I want, I ultimately end up pushing up the center point of each triangle to get more lift away from the shoulders. Not worried that the tissue paper looks like a mess on the torso here. That's all gonna end up getting covered up right away with clay. Same way I built up the rest of the figure so far, just placing bit by bit in place for the cuirass, then smooth it out. Same again to each added segment and layer. After I do the shoulder blades near the end of this shot on the back of the cuirass, I ended up deciding I don't so much care for how it looks and redid them. Tom requested studded leather on this figure. And the way I picture studded leather as opposed to leather armor is that it has extra layers riveted onto the main layer, thus the studs. Anyways, thanks again for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. The more views, likes, and subscribers I get, the more likely this is to turn into a long-term thing. So if you like these videos and this concept, please hit those buttons. It's a free and easy way to support me. And thanks again. See you next time.